Nothing could be further than traditional methodology than the Michel methodology. I mean, when did you ever walk in a classroom? When did I ever walk into a classroom before I taught for Michel and say to students, now listen, I don't want you to memorize anything. I don't want you to take notes. I don't want you to do any homework. I want you to get out of your way. If anything goes wrong, it's my fault. It's not your fault. I'm the teacher. Don't worry about it. Relax. Take your time. Think it through. Don't worry about making mistakes. We all make mistakes in other languages and whatever. That's a radically different point of departure. Michel has broken the language down to bite-sized bits, really building blocks of the language, that he then arranges in a very strategic way that's recursive and allows you within a very short period of time to be constructing sentences on your own, so that it's always the student speaking right from the beginning, but not parroted phrases, because his ground rules are very simple, even if they seem a little bit implausible to people who have learned languages in other ways. You must be relaxed. You've got to get out of your own way, because there's an unconscious part of our brain where language is absorbed, and that can't be stood in the way of, otherwise it won't work. You have to listen to the tapes and the students on the tapes and respond, think it through, respond. It's okay if you make a mistake, because as Michel said, there are no bad learners, just bad teachers. And it works in great part because of the psychological tension being released, equally to the fact that the structure itself is brilliantly constructed and moves cumulatively, so that within a very short period of time, you will find yourself speaking in complete adult sentences. My experience with it, even though I was a language teacher for many years, when I took the German with Michel, it was hypnotic. I actually felt like I was in another dimension. It was sort of like the Twilight Zone. I don't know how to exactly, I didn't even know how to explain it, because I didn't want to stop. And I'd look at my watch and I'd say, oh my goodness, I've been listening to these tapes for 3 hours. And I wouldn't be tired. I wanted to keep going. And it is hypnotic. You do get hooked. And it is, in that sense, fun and engaging. And again, it's something that you have to kind of experience to believe. One wonderful way that Michel has of teaching, and his methodology is also not only enriched by, but dependent on the fact that he teaches in English. You don't start out with someone blathering at you in a language you've never heard or that you cannot speak. And so he teaches the similarities between the languages. And there are about 5,000 to 7,000 words that Spanish, for example, has in common, or French, with English. They mean the same thing. And the only thing that differs with them is the pronunciation. But 9 times out of 10, they're your best friends. There are some wonderful building blocks, so that, you know, pretty much every word that ends in T-I-O-N in English is a C-I-O-N word in Spanish. So intention is intención, and attention is atención. And I remember how long it took us at a university level to get to, let me use an example, a direct pronoun. What do you do with these little things? It. Within hours, I mean within 13 hours, you can get the entire structure, all the verb tenses that take literally years at university level to get to, at least second year, sometimes third year, depending on the way the languages are taught. In the Michel Thomas method, if the word to drink is beber, and you want to say, I want to drink it, or drink it, to drink it, he says lo is it, and you, as Michel would say, you hook it on. So it's beberlo. Well, I can tell you with no hesitation, it took me several semesters and a great deal of pain and anguish to try to help my students learn how to deal with pronouns. This is just one example of many I could give you. But as someone who taught the language traditionally and then taught it the Michel Thomas way, the difference was stunning. One thing Michel never does that is done in traditional methodologies is he doesn't make you feel foolish for making mistakes. He doesn't even correct them. He'll take you back to the building block that he wants to reinforce with you. And then when you get to the point again where that same phrase comes up, presto, you've corrected your own mistake. As Michel said, once you learn something, once you understand it, you don't forget it. And that is another very important fact to mention with this methodology, because it happens to be true. You don't forget it.